Welcome to the AST blog and forest bathing meditation, 4th of February 2020. Life, death and the dance between. Welcome to February, and what teachings do the trees hold at this time? In the woods the hazel catkins are flowering, joined by the first leaves unfolding from the honeysuckle and elder. Unlike ivy, honeysuckle twines its way around the trees, constricting and strangling their growth. It is honeysuckle that creates the sought-after spiralling, twisting staffs beloved of wizards and wild men. Ivy, although it may drown out a tree through sheer volume, if you strip it off you can see the trunk has grown without the telltale constriction marks of the honeysuckle. Come summer, the honeysuckle bowers are filled with a heady and intoxicating scent. No surprise then that to produce such a perfume requires time, and leads it to be one of the first to unfurl its leaves. The elder too is sending forth leaves. Again, come midsummer, it will be producing blooms with mature womanly scent. A small tree, yet associated with a deep and powerful magic. This is a tree of witches. A word that comes from the wit of knowing. You don't get to be a wise woman, or indeed a wise man, without having set out your leaves early, braving the cold blasts of winter. The honeysuckle and elder say that if you have learned to listen to the world, to nature, to trees, then you will be well equipped to turn your hardships into a great flowering. Winter is a cold, hard season. We have already seen that apples need the cold and the dark in order to fruit. It seems miraculous that anything at all should flower at this time. Yet from out of dead leaves spears of green shoot forth and bring swathes of delicate drifts of singing snowdrops. What? You didn't know snowdrops could sing? Go sit among them. Think of nothing, leave your timepieces behind and gaze at their beauty. And then come back and tell me what you heard. The sharp and spiky gorse too shows its flowers. Sunshine splashed and vanilla coconut scented delights. Such sights seem extraordinary under unremittingly grey skies and bitter winds. At this time, things seem to come in threes. The dark of winter, the returning light, and flowering. A time of importance for both pagans and Christians. It is in the groves of trees we see life, death, and the dance between the two come into play. The woods are cold, bare, bereft. Yet now there are hints and dints of spring, a glimpse of green between tree trunks and tiny flowers cradled by mighty roots amongst moss and fallen leaves. Bear garlic is sprouting, gifting us vitamin and mineral-packed garlicky breath. We have heard the sap rising. We know it takes hard frost to gain sweet sap from maples, just as to pick apples in the autumn. As if to prove a point, witchy winter freezes our fingers and then gifts us flowers to bless our eyes, gladden our hearts and fill us with promises of fruit to come. No other season seems to encompass despair, hope and fulfilment in quite the same way. Despite our modern so-called civilised sensibilities, we need this wild world. I went up to Marsden near Huddersfield for their fire festival. This is not an old tradition here, but a modern theatre piece that plays with the archetypes. Winter and summer do battle in the form of Jack Frost and the Green Man. Winter is banished. We are presented with a spectacle of light, of fire dancers, fireworks and sigils burning bright against the backdrop of the night. The audience is transfixed. Forget radio, cinema, TV and social media. Forget fashionistas and footballers. Forget polite society. What has the people cheering? Fire, archetypes, and an enactment of a story that is as old as the world. They come to see life, death, and the dance between the two. Earth, birth and worth, connection to wild land, feeding what we love. Things come in threes. No wonder then that our goddess has 3 faces, maiden, mother and crone. She, the goddess of fire, birth and inspiration. The Celts named her Brigid, and the Christians made her into a saint. In the 9th century Cormac's glossary, it was suggested that Briocigae was the root name of Brigid, with the name in folklore meaning fiery arrow or power, known as Brie according to Julian Cope in her Neolithic incarnation. However, before Christian, Celtic and Neolithic times, who was she? Well, if you want to know the answer to that and how this feeds into our tree teaching, you will have to visit my personal blog for more woodland wisdom. Fires burn, lambs are born, and the juices of plants and animals begin to run. Lambs suckle their mother's milk, while the secret internal workings of trees flow with life. This goddess wasn't born out of some dislocated fantasy. She was born out of time, place and connection, in and of a living world. Do we still need dancing, songs, stories, poetry and paintings? Do we still need to leave wild places where other creatures can live undisturbed? Or is this world an evolution of chemicals, algorithms and statistics, where wildness in human, plant and animal has no place? Is this a world for whom the ultimate expression lies in human sensibilities? In this modern world, is there any place for feeling, for intuition, for emotion, for dreaming, for the sacred? Finally, is there still a place for love and beauty? If you can sit out in the dark, alone from distraction, away from busyness, away from the doings of others, and away from your own stories, in other words, away from your habitual consumptions and comforts, why then I think you will find the answer to these questions. What is your worth when you are out in the wild? Once you have found the answer to that question, bring it back and see what is still important to you. Brigid is about life, death, and the dance between the two. You see it very clearly at this time of the year out in the woods. Like I say, no other season seems to encompass despair, hope, and promise of fulfilment in quite the same way. Are not these the preoccupations of every human life? Woodland wisdoms and tree teachings lead us to look at these questions time and time again. I made a pledge this year to publish a tree teaching a week on this website. Alongside are the extras in the newsletter to accompany them. It's free to join us here. Just sign up to this blog. Connection. A forest bathing meditation. Having walked out, you have found a place among the trees. This, then, is your starting point. Standing among the trees. Time, place, connection. As you walk among the trees, you awaken 3 senses. Walking slowly through the hours of the day have brought you to this place. Here, among the trees, the light filters among the trunks, stretching out long fingers to caress the earth. See the leaves and earth underfoot. Dead twigs, old bones discarded. What do you see in this world? Beneath your feet, look for moss, a soft whisper of green on soil black and brown. See footprints and paw prints, tracks, patterns and paths. This is where time lives, in the journey time between footsteps, between sticks and shadows, between mud and moss, between logs and leaves, between night and day, cold and warmth, sun and moon. As your eyes rise with the sun, see the trunks of the trees and shadows shifting as shafts of light streaming silent. You are where you need to be, between the trees, feeling the space, between the length and breadth, light and depth. The trees hold the space, the sound, the light, the sharp smell of winter's chill. They hold you close, they hold you in the distance. Above, beyond, and all around. This is your place. Not a beginning, not an ending. Leaves lie dead on the ground. The cold chills the bones. Death is all around. Green is energy rising from the soil. Warm wood smoke, breath, like swirls out into the light. There is life all around. Sap rising, green shoots rising, heartbeat rising. Like the trees, something is moving on the inside. Though ice may freeze all into stillness, into apparent death, yet life lives, boughs moving with the breeze. Let your sense of time go. The seasons have birthed you into this moment. Loosening your thoughts, relax. Let life do as it will. Let your sense of place, as the trees hold you in their midst, bring you into the centre of yourself. Feel your connection. This is not just time. This is not just place. Your senses are expanding. You are a part of this holy ground. You feel your presence among the trees and the green shoots of bulbs, of bluebells and bear garlic. Your skin is soft moss, your blood the juices of plants, your bones the branches of trees. You are this. This is a place of feeling beyond thought, as sweet as snowdrops, as red as the robin's breast. Thoughts only come from the mind, feelings from the heart. We find where love lives when we let go. Time, place, connection. Here, now. When you are ready, move slowly, feeling fingers and toes, then arms and legs. Walk slowly, holding your connection deep inside. You can take what you know, and keeping it safe, walk out into the wide world.